The final of the new subclasses is the Stormcaller, Warlock, the Arc Warlock, whatever you want to call it. Let us review. Once again, everything in this video is subject to change in between now and the final version of the Taken King. Starting with grenades, two of these should look pretty familiar: Lightning Grenade and Pulse Grenade. Now, speaking as a Titan, Lightning Grenade is easily one of the best PvP grenades in the game, so yeah, it's not new, but it's really good. The new grenade is the Deluge Grenade, where you call down a localized lightning storm. It's like a big AoE when it explodes. Well, it's a grenade-sized storm, similar in radius to other grenades. Any new jumps? That's a negative. You get focused control, focused burst, and balanced glide. No blink here. Your super is Storm Trance, where when activated you will float, move a little bit faster, and can hold down your respective button to shoot lightning out of your hands. It is pretty freaking awesome. The first option that you have is Landfall, where when you activate it does a big AoE shockwave around you, sort of like Fist of Havoc minus the big leap, but not as strong. Superconductor doubles your Storm Trance chaining capabilities, and Electric Glide gives you a short distance teleport when you hit L3 or your respective button while in Storm Trance. Thunderstrike is your melee, which kind of felt like it had more range than a usual melee, but that could have just been me hallucinating. It deals some arc damage, nothing crazy. Chain Lightning is your first option, which chains the damage from the target struck to another nearby target. Tempestuous increases the range of Thunderstrike, as if Warlocks needed to be able to melee from even farther away than they do now, and Rising Storm makes it so that hits with Thunderstrike charge your super, your ability, and melee energy, so a nice flat bonus overall. Next we have our stat bonuses. Nothing crazy here, it's the same thing as it is in-game right now. The first column of variety bonuses, we have Rain Check, where when you are revived, you trigger a shockwave which disorients all nearby enemies. Uninsulated, where incoming melee attacks shock the attacker, kind of similar to the ACD Feedback Fence Titan Exotic, except it's not an AoE. And Inclement Weather, where grenade kills recharge your melee, and melee kills recharge your grenade. The last column of variety bonuses, we have Gathering Storm, where Storm Trance charges faster when allies are in close proximity, and when Storm Trance is active, you deal constant AoE damage around yourself. Greased Lightning is where enemies damaged by your grenades chain lightning to other nearby enemies. And finally, Wellspring is where if you cast your Storm Trance while you have full grenade and Thunderstrike energy, Storm Trance restores your health to full and drains slower than normal. So now let's talk about some builds. For PvE, we're looking at a build that maybe goes a little something like Deluge Grenade, Superconductor, Rising Storm, Inclement Weather, and maybe Gathering Storm for group content, or maybe Wellspring for solo content as an oh crap button. I think this makes the most out of your abilities. The Stormcaller has a ton of damage potential for PvE. Storm Trance is not a game, people. It's here. It exists. And it is here to murder everything a lot. And anything that you can do to make sure it is active and ready to go is only going to benefit you. I really like the concept of Wellspring and Inclement Weather, and I'd like to say that they synergize, and they kind of do, but kind of don't as well. The whole point of Wellspring is to have your abilities ready, but Inclement Weather makes it so using your abilities recharges the other abilities faster, so you have to use your abilities, which makes Wellspring kind of janky with its synergy. Rain Check is kind of whatever, you shouldn't be dying in the first place, but I can definitely see its appeal. Landfall is kind of cool because it can give you a really big head start on your damage, and if you combine it with something like Wellspring, it essentially guarantees safety in its execution. I might be overvaluing Superconductor a little bit, I don't know. I just think that it can be insane damage output if you're fighting a lot of stuff at once. In PvP, the thing I struggled with the most was movement. You do move a little bit faster, but versus something like Blade Dancer, well, Blade Dancer has ways of getting around the map super quickly. So for starters, your PvP build is probably going to be something along the lines of Lightning Grenade, Electric Glide, Tempestuous, either uninsulated or Inclement Weather, and probably Wellspring, but Greased Lightning might be a decent choice too. Uninsulated is going to depend on how much damage it does, similar to the Feedback Fence. If someone hits you and then you hit them back and kill them with only that amount of damage, then it might very well be worth it. Otherwise, it's just going to be meh for PvP. Electric Glide solves that mobility problem. It might not be as big of a problem as I'm leading on. I did only get to play a couple of games with it, so I could be exaggerating. Landfall is cool and just really unexpected, but it might be even tougher to pull off than Fist of Havoc because you don't really launch yourself into it, you just kind of activate it. It's good to surprise people around corners and stuff with, but otherwise, it's going to get a little taken used to. Tempestuous, that's a pretty easy choice for PvP. Wellspring is also going to be good in case you ever want a defensive activation, you just need to be monitoring your abilities a lot. Gathering Storm might be alright too, I guess it kind of depends on the map size and your style of play. I don't like standing nearby my teammates normally because, well, that's where the enemy is going to be looking, so I like going rogue and being able to flank and stuff like that. I think Stormcaller is going to be incredibly good for PvE. Incredibly good. The damage it'll dish out is just insane, and I'd say it works from about what you'd expect a fusion rifle to be able to hit from, maybe a little bit further than that. This versus Sunsinger, I think they both have their benefits. Sunsinger can really dish out the damage as well, but it's reliant on spamming grenades, whereas Stormcaller, you literally just hold down the button and you just insta-zap the hell out of everything from a pretty reasonable range. Low tier stuff is just absolutely gonna melt instantly. It's probably not gonna be the best against majors, but then again, most stuff isn't exactly the best versus majors. In PvP, this definitely has potential. I think it'll battle versus Sunsinger for sure. Sunsinger is just really good right now in general, so I think it'll be tough to completely dethrone it, but that's good. That means both are very good options. And that, my friends, is the final new subclass. I am super excited for these new subclasses. They all seem really fun to play, and were really fun to play and learn. Over the weekend, we'll be going over the rest of the stuff that I know about the Taken King, and a little something that you guys have been tweeting me about that I found pretty funny. That'll do it for me, though. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.